Welcome to the IDP Show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. Addy, how are you home?
Doing very well, Josh. How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Jet lag, I think, is finally worn off. You spend an entire month in another country and then get dragged to Texas for work the following week for 4 days.
That's right. You're a man of culture. You love to travel.
I was
to see the world.
I was absolutely worthless this past weekend. Just sat around the house, did the laundry. You're gone for a month. Some of you don't think about it. You're not going to come back to any food in the fridge. We had to clean out the pantry, clean out the fridge, get the meal planning, do the groceries.
Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of like we were moving in for the first time.
Starting from square one.
Exactly. So I'm glad to be out of that phase, glad to be home, sleeping in your own bed. I think it's one of those cliches at this point of like, can't wait to get home, sleep. There's something to be said for being in your own bed, Addy.
There's no place like home.
There is no place like home. That is true. No place like the Sode Shack either, Addy.
Hey, this is home. This is home.
This is home. We're in the process of making some updates to the Sode Shack right now. Very exciting stuff happening. Some exciting stuff on the horizon for the show. We're in talks for some really cool collabs this season that we're hoping to announce here soon. But big things in the works, Addy. We're like a month out from actual football.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season, man.
It really is.
I'm so fired up. And, we're just as passionate as ever about this whole IDP thing.
That's right.
Happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Truly. I know we make fun of the space and community all the time.
Do you? I haven't noticed.
But there's a lot of really good people doing work out there. We have a lot of really smart people in the community now. A lot of people that have gotten into the creation side of things, content creation side of things, and it's just it's pretty sweet. I mean, there's really not much excuse for people to say there's no resources out there. Stuff you hear.
Yeah.
It's not growing. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And our show, I think, is a testament to that.
I think that's a big reason why it's because of us.
That's right. You're welcome, folks. Tip a cap if I had one.
Make sure everyone's, do something nice for us. Say something nice about us. Just, we done all this for y'all.
That's true. The millions of dollars that we're raking in endorsements don't hurt either.
Sure. But that ain't what it's about.
That ain't about the money. That is for sure. And if you want to support us, that's a great point, Addy. Go check out the IDPDraftKit.com. Pick you up a copy. I know drafts are going on right now. We've got our home league draft this weekend. Just switched that league over to Sleeper.
16 years.
16 years. We update the name of it every year.
And it's longer than that, actually. That's just the name of this league because we've been doing it before. If it was 16
that would have
years,
been our senior year of high school.
I think we did it a few years before that.
See, I remember getting into fantasy football. We did an interview you guys are going to hear on the back side of this episode with the guys from All 22. I mentioned in that interview, this is my 20th year playing fantasy football because I remember getting into it my freshman year of high school,
exactly right,
which was 2002. But I don't know that we made a league until a little bit later on.
I think, it kind of got formal a few years later. Once you're like, oh, this is great. We're going to do this for the rest of our lives.
Exactly. Yeah. So home league draft on Sleeper. Haven't gotten those guys to migrate over to IDP yet, but happy to have that on the Sleeper app finally. Auction league, we do the RSO auction league, but this is a group that's seen a little bit of turnover, had some turnover this year, but it's good. I think home drafts, I personally don't think about this league like right up until it's draft time, but it's always a good time to have your home draft.
And honestly, this league's pretty good. I mean,
yeah, it is.
We have another home draft that league is not good. Like there's a lot. I do really well in that one. I tell people all the time that's the best investment I ever made was getting into that league.
Yes,
because there's some just older fellas that just don't keep up with it like us, right? We just have just such a massive advantage because we're always on top of the news, and that's really the key to being successful.
It is. Just stay on top of it. Doing a weekly podcast, I think, helps you just stay on top of things. Yeah,
the draft this weekend, the room's a lot more sharper. The one I have at the end of the month, it's not. I'm also right in the middle of the IDP Invitational.
Oh, speak on it.
Yeah, this was my first year getting to do it. I tried to sign up last year, but something happened. I don't know what happened, but something happened.
Was there a bug in the system?
Yeah, they wanted me out.
They voted you off the island?
They voted me out.
I can't say I blame them.
Too much.
Too much swag, too much sauce?
Sure. But, I'm in the Jupiter division. I have made it through 3 rounds. So it's the offensive scoring is based off the Scott Fish Bowl, which everyone knows all about that, of course.
That's that leans. Is that tight end premium or?
Yes, it is tight end premium.
Yeah.
So it's
super flex.
Yeah, you get tight ends get an extra half a point per reception, and they get an extra half a point for first down.
Oh, there you go. I knew there was a first down component in there somewhere as well.
So I started Travis Kelce.
Nice.
And Mark Andrews.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah. And then I went Trey Lance. I just had Trey Lance as my 3rd pick, so I'm waiting for my 4th. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'll keep everyone updated on the Twitters.
And like Addy said, this is a great time to be an IDP manager. Go back. You mentioned this as well, Addy, that John Macri, Justin Varnes just had a killer episode of Big Nickel looking at some of their favorite values in IDP drafts. So relevant this time of year. If you have not checked that out yet, and many of you have, the numbers have been awesome for that one. Go back and check it out. Really awesome getting to have Justin in the feed for the first time. Hopefully not the last time. We'll try to get him on.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on our show as
well.
Yeah,
here soon.
He's great. Yeah, and he does, great work over there at Fantasy Points. And
that's
again,
right.
Part of that, really smart community that I mentioned. I mean, he's someone that's very slept on. And he doesn't, he's kind of keeps to himself. He's not really outspoken on the Twitters, but that dude knows his stuff, and that shines through on the episode with John.
That's right. So go check out their podcast as well, the Fantasy Points podcast. His IDP Corner is in that podcast feed, so go check it out. Macri's got a few episodes left of Big Nickel Season 2 next week coming up with Mike Wohlert, but fun show for you guys today. We're happy to be back. Like we mentioned, we've got the guys from all 22, Ray, Chris, and Bobby. In the back half of the episode, we just got finished with an awesome interview with those guys. Had our IDP Avengers draft a couple weekends ago. That was a wild ride. You're going to hear all about it. We've even got 6 of our league mates weighing in with their strategy. So you heard on the Big Nickel episode how the platform works and kind of the concept with all 22. So this round, we're going to be looking at strategy. So you'll want to check that out. A lot of fun talking to those guys. But Addy, until then, let's talk some training camp news. This can be a slow period for IDP news, but boy, some big stuff went down today, including one of the best linebackers in all of IDP asking for a trade. Roquan Smith, Bears linebacker, IDP stalwart, has formally requested a trade, did the screenshot of the Notes app on Twitter explaining the rationale, said that the team has been lowballing him. They're not operating in good faith, that the deal would be detrimental to linebackers across the league if he took it. This is a major shakeup, Addy. Roquan Smith, if you're going with a linebacker heavy build in your drafts, is often LB1 off the board. And now we have a seismic shakeup with the Chicago Bears and him being far apart on a new contract.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to bump him down a little bit, right? I mean, it just gives him a little more risk. And he is someone that you have to draft very high. And if I'm drafting someone very high, I don't want to have to deal with really any risk at all. So, yeah, I would think that this gets worked out, right? I mean, you want to – Chicago, they don't have a lot of talent on that roster. And I don't think you want to lock up a ton of money for a guy like Roquan who, he's a linebacker.
That's the thing, because you look at the context, and this doesn't really make sense for the Bears, who are dead last in the amount of cash spent.
Yeah,
$165 million. By comparison, the Rams, who are first, are spending about $300 million in cash for 2022. So the least amount of spending. But so you may ask yourself, okay, they're not spending any money on anyone, so why lowball Roquan Smith? Of the 15 linebackers who played 1,000 snaps, only 5 graded worse than Roquan Smith at 47.8 overall defensive grade, according to PFF. So I think new regime, new general manager, new coach, they're tearing this thing down to the studs. I think this is a situation, Addy, where they like Roquan Smith. They don't love Roquan Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's piles up the tackles, and he's a fun, flashy player. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he hasn't graded very well at all since he came into the league, and it's just not the way you build a team. It's overpaying a linebacker like that. I mean, think of how many times does that work out?
Not often.
Rarely.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll see how it goes with Foyce Aluakan.
Probably not going to work out.
If the Jags are wanting to slit their own throats 2 years into that contract.
Darius Leonard just got paid. We're about to get to him.
That's right.
I mean, so far that's not looking like the best deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Darius Leonard, of course, but I mean, he's a guy that struggles to stay on the field.
There's two sides to the argument here, and I can understand both sides of it, that this team is tearing it down to the studs. So you're not paying anyone. Why not pay Roquan Smith? Why not pay a face of the franchise type of guy? Even if your team's going to suck, at least give the fans someone that they know.
They can buy a jersey.
A name on the jersey, a face on the tickets, like a banner on the side of the stadium. Give the team some kind of identity. So there's that element of it. But there's also the element of, what does a highly paid linebacker do for a team that's probably going to win 2 or 3 games?
Yeah.
That's not the best allocation of resources.
Yeah. I think the best move would be for Chicago to trade him, right? But
I agree. Recoup some capital back.
But what's anyone going to be willing to spend on that? Is someone going to give up a first-round pick for Roquan Smith?
A third, maybe?
Yeah, maybe, because they're going to have to pay him. But, I mean, that's not a huge return to really deal a guy like that,
Not really.
I'd probably just hold on to Roquan Smith. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough situation, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right answer other than if Nicholas Morrow is on your waivers for whatever reason, go scoop this guy up.
Yeah, that's the great part of all this is Nicholas Morrow. I mean, you can, you likely have like a linebacker 2 or 3 if something happens. I mean, shit, maybe linebacker 1.
Could be.
If Roquan misses time or holds out or whatever.
Gets
traded. I mean,
at the end of the day, I will say there have been many players, mostly wide receivers, that have demanded trades. They've all gotten paid. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson, that leaked last year. He ends up getting traded this offseason. I don't know, man.
Deebo Samuel requested a trade.
Right?
That got worked out.
So I think, for me, it's about a 50-50 proposition as to whether Roquan Smith is on the Bears week 1.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong sense, man. Because
these linebackers, though, it's I think they're it's kind of like the running backs. I think they're gonna have to understand that just the league doesn't value them the way that they once did.
That's right,
and that's hard to come to terms with, but it's just the fact.
I think Roquan Smith wants to be the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. That's kind of how this works, and he's just not going to be that on a team that is in complete rebuild, tear down mode.
Yeah.
So I think he's reading the room appropriately that if I want to get paid top dollar, I need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yep.
Will that happen? We'll see.
Yeah, if he wants to get big bucks, he needs to get to free agency.
That's right. So
same thing with like Deontay Johnson. Like I mean, I don't understand why he was so eager to sign that deal. Like, dude, you were going to get massive money from somebody.
That's right.
Like the Steelers, I feel like just gave him like market value pretty much. Like he could have gotten that on a tag.
Second tier down almost. Like it's not even top of the market money.
Christian Kirk just got
it's Christian Kirk money.
Buku, but I mean that deal would have been way bigger if he waited.
Exactly, because you'd have been the prettiest girl at the dance, getting probably even more than what Christian Kirk got.
But he's got the peace of mind, I guess, now that he's
That's right. So will Roquan Smith be a Bear week 1? We don't know. Will Shaquille Leonard be on the field for the Indianapolis Colts week 1? Probably not, Addy.
Yeah, they've already confirmed that he's going to miss time this year.
I think,
or that's what the beats are.
The way I'm reading the tea leaves here, they're using phrases like, expect him back at some point this season. Not going to rush him. No, he's an important part of the team. And so the way I read that is this guy's probably going to miss maybe the first month or 2 of the season. Total gut feel, but here's the factor that I think we have to take into account. Last year, Darius Leonard and it was Darius Leonard then, played on a bum ankle. If you watched Hard Knocks in season, you saw the lengths that he had to go through just to be on the field. I think part of that was this third-round draft pick signing this huge deal, wanting to justify the contract. I understand that. When I got hired into the job that I'm in now, I was working nights, I was working weekends. I felt like I had to justify my employer's faith in giving me that position. This year, though, 1 year removed from that contract, facing not an ankle problem, but recovery from back surgery, I don't know that Shaquille Leonard is in the same kind of headspace that he was last offseason, where he felt really, really motivated to go out and prove that he was worth every penny of this contract. I think the mindset is a little bit different now, and I don't think we're going to see Darius Leonard for. I would put the over-under at about the first 6 weeks of the season.
Wow. So, I mean, if that's the case, where are you willing to take him in a draft?
Boy, I don't know that I am. I think I'm just going to pass on Leonard and grab
someone else deal.
I'll grab Bobby O.
Yeah.
Because
or EJ Speed.
Or EJ Speed, right? Filling in that Bobby O role.
Yeah.
Like we've seen both these linebackers be profitable for IDP and Indy. But like you said, I don't think IDP managers are going to give you a huge discount on Shaquille Leonard because there's still a chance that he's on the field sooner rather than later, even if it's not week 1. The season is long. I will give you that. But I've been down this road before with like Peyton Manning, with like Andrew Luck, these kind of like back injuries and these kind of nebulous timelines. I feel like they bite you in the ass more than they come through on the positive side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a stay away for me. Love Darius Leonard. Love the week-to-week advantage he'll give you. But, I mean, we know he usually misses games every year anyway. But to, like, be guaranteed that he's going to miss a few, it's just not.
Yeah.
No thanks.
We'll see. Maybe
love him in Dynasty still.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still a top 4 linebacker in Dynasty.
Yeah, this doesn't Dynasty not as much. I mean, back surgery.
He's still young enough. He's 26, 27, I think. So I mean, he's going to be fine. But yeah, I prefer not to have to overpay for that.
Now, with the nebulous situation surrounding these two guys in a redraft league, let's say you want to go with an LB heavy build. Micah Parsons at 1?
Yeah.
Devin White at 2?
I think Bobby Wagner.
B-Wag's creeping up to 2
Wagner
for you?
Quite a bit.
Yep.
Actually, I was in there today. I was going
to say, you moved a little sneak peek here of the updates we're doing in the IDP Draft Kit, but you moved Darius Leonard down to LB 11, I believe.
I did.
For redraft, right? Not for Dynasty.
Correct. And he still may slide down a little bit more, but so I moved up. Bobby Wagner is now my LB2. Roquan Smith is LB3, which that could be going down. Devondre Campbell is LB4. Foye Oluokun is LB5. Then Jordan Brooks, Devin White, Fred Warner, Logan Wilson.
I was going to say Logan Wilson probably in there.
Eric Kendricks, Darius Leonard.
Okay.
CJ Mosley, Cole Holcomb. So it's like that's where the line is for me at the moment because I guess I'm still optimistic. I don't think he's going to miss 6 games. I feel like he's going to miss like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I'm on the more pessimistic side just because I've been snake bit by this before in the past and just the wording and he's not even like dressed. Like the whole thing is giving me the heebie-jeebies. So, and knowing that the Colts, I think, knowing they have Bobby O, a player who they have full confidence in manning the middle of that defense, I don't think there is a rush to bring this guy back.
But I mean,
boy, he's a cheat code out there, man.
That they've had some big losses though, the Colts defense. I mean, losing Kari Willis just out of nowhere, and then now having to be without Darius Leonard for a little stretch. I mean, that's tough, for a team that I think probably they feel like they're the favorite to win the division this year.
Yeah, I think they are the betting favorite.
So, that we'll see how that defense reacts. But I still have Darius Leonard as a top 12 option just because, I mean, I am willing to potentially take that risk. Like when we get to like the Cole Holcomb, CJ Mosley range, like I'll maybe take a risk and draft Leonard just for that year end.
Exactly.
Upside.
Even if you get 10 to 11 games of Leonard, that's
if you have him for the final stretch of the year. I mean, that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah,
you love that
because we know we can get by the first. We can get in the playoffs without Leonard. Whatever.
Exactly.
Even if
if Leonard's the chess piece you're bringing onto the board at the end of the season,
yeah,
maybe that's nice.
And also, you could just go draft EJ Speed.
That's right. Or Bobby O.
Or Morrow.
Nicholas Morrow. Pick him up. I mean, scoop EJ Speed and Nicholas Morrow off waivers. These guys probably aren't even getting drafted. I think even knowing the Roquan Smith situation that he was looking for a new deal, Morrow's still probably out there on waivers.
He was still someone that should have, probably going to be relevant either way. So, we know that story. There's always talent out there on the waiver wire.
And sometimes the fill-in for the full-time guy, the stud, is like questionable, right? Like we're not quite sure if this guy gets the opportunity. Can he fill in? We know Bobby O is capable. Probably one of the best like linebacker handcuffs in all of IDP. So
we know Speed is as well. He had moments last year when he got an opportunity. So
team likes EJ Speed a lot.
Both those guys will be very relevant if Leonard misses a lot of time.
So from one player that we are very fond of to another, the training camp buzz, and I got to give a shout out to Greg Rosenthal here because he wrote an incredible article. Check it out if you haven't, NFL.com/Rosenthal, basically looking at all the training camp hype and buzz coming out and sifting through all the noise to pick out, I believe it was 51 nuggets that you needed to know from these first couple weeks of training camp. And our boy Antoine Winfield Jr., this was very interesting to me, Addy, has replaced Sean Murphy-Bunting as the Bucs slot defender.
Wow.
What do we think about this with Winfield moving toward the slot, it sounds like?
I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, we see how good that is for cornerbacks to be playing that slot. You know, think about Kenny Moore, think about Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey. Those guys are all extremely relevant and rack up a lot of tackles for being cornerbacks just because they're playing, closer to the action, closer to the line of scrimmage and everything. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be good for him. I mean, it's not like he'll just be exclusively in the slot. He's still gonna get safety snaps. He's just an extremely versatile player. I think it just speaks more to like how good Antoine Winfield is that you can just line him up wherever, let him he's just a playmaker. He's a good football player. And, I don't think you should ding him at all. I mean, I think this is good for Logan Ryan, especially.
Yep.
That they're figuring out ways to, keep those guys both on the field. But yeah, I mean, Antoine Winfield, he's still gonna. It don't matter. You can put him at edge. He'll still find.
Put him at defensive tackle. He's gonna absolutely eat.
He'll still finish top 6 somehow.
That's right. And the knock on Winfield Jr. is always, well, he lines up deep. So
also closer.
Arrow up for me if he's lining up in the slot.
He already had 3 sacks?
Yeah.
In both years, I think. I don't know if that's correct, but I know he had 3 sacks.
I'm going to say it's correct. You said it with confidence. Yeah. I'm bought in now. 3 sacks.
3 sacks every year from playing deep.
Exactly. So if your biggest knock on Winfield Jr. is, well, he plays deep too much, I don't want to rely on him, and now suddenly he's playing more in the slot, that's what made Jalen Ramsey relevant. That's what made Kenny Moore a top 5 cornerback the past 2 seasons. So I like that a lot. That is not an arrow down situation for me. It's arrow up. We love Antoine Winfield
2
Jr.
sacks.
And even more. So 2 sacks.
2 sacks last year. 3 sacks the year before that. But he only played 13 games in 2021.
Well, there you go. So Antoine Winfield Jr. lining up a little more in the slot. Brandon Graham lining up with the backups. And Addy, he doesn't seem to mind it, saying that he wants to be the best role player he can be. I think the reason I brought this up and put this at the dynamite is just kind of a signal of like Brandon Graham's days as an IDP relevant piece are over.
Yeah. RIP.
Brandon Graham, really fun player. Hard Knocks standout. No, the Amazon show, All or Nothing. Absolute standout on that show. Love Brandon Graham as a person and as a player. And I think he'll still be great for that Eagles defensive line, but for IDP, the ship has sailed.
It's too crowded there now.
Yep.
Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, they are super beefy inside.
They brought back Derek Barnett, didn't they?
Derek Barnett as well. Inside, you got freaking Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Fletcher Cox is still there, right?
I mean, just Javon Hargrave.
Oh my God.
I mean, this team it's beefaroni up the middle.
It really is. Jeez, forgot about Hargrave. That's going to be an interesting rotation to watch.
Yeah,
and see how all those snaps and everything shake out. I mean, I don't know.
Are any of those interior guys IDP relevant with how stacked they are?
I would hope Hargrave would be.
I know Varnes and Macri were talking up Hargrave as one of their values late in drafts.
Yeah.
So
I've got him in quite a few spots too. So I hope so. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of talent there. That's not usually something you like.
Yeah. So Brandon Graham, happy trails. Thanks for the IDP relevant seasons that you gave us. But we're going to call this next one, Addy, the DFF trip. Well, now Dynasty Football Guys trip special here. He was talking about the Broncos linebacker situation. He's a big Josie Jewell guy. The question mark alongside Josie Jewell, who's going to be that LB2 in Denver? It's sounding like it's going to be Jonas Griffith. Appears all but locked in as the Broncos linebacker beside Josie Jewell. He's even taken some snaps as the lone linebacker in certain formations. My name is Jonas. Season may be here, Addy.
Yeah, I mean, he in limited action last year, he graded very well. I think he was like in the 70s or 80s. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been reading too. I mean, it's Josie Jewell, the clear-cut one, and then Griffith has been the other guy that has been most impressive. So I think that's how people should be drafting these guys, and it doesn't seem like that's been the case. Like Alex Singleton, for some reason, is typically getting drafted as like the LB1. I think people remember like, oh, this guy had some monster weeks.
It's the long, greasy hair. It's the bad boy look.
Yeah. But I mean, they didn't pay that dude anything. They gave him nothing. I don't even know if they gave him $1 million.
I don't even know if they gave him $1, like $10. Go check out. There's an article Tripp has been putting out some great threads on Twitter, threads that don't make you want to kill yourself. And he's been looking at projections that raise his eyebrows, and we wrote up a few of them for the website. So go check out his Twitter feed, check out the IDPshow.com. But Singleton was one of the ones, and I think it tied into this point that he made on Macri's podcast of like, guys, Josie Jewell is the linebacker to roster in Denver.
Yep.
Jonas Griffith now, according to what we're seeing, appears to be the number 2. So Alex Singleton is not relevant for IDP rosters right now. I think that's the larger point we're trying to make here.
Yep.
So from Denver to Dallas, Addy, and you love to see this. From defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, Anthony Barr was brought in specifically to buy Micah Parsons more edge snaps. So if you're wondering, okay, how does Anthony Barr fit into this role? It sounds like LVE Anthony Barr will be the linebackers on the field, or at least Anthony Barr fits into this rotation. We talked about Jabril Cox in the last episode. It sounds like Anthony Barr fits into this rotation of guys that are going to allow for Micah Parsons to get those edge snaps.
Yeah, just muddying it up pretty much for
everyone. I know, right? Behind Parsons, I don't know really who I want, if anyone.
Just Parsons. That's all you're looking for on this Dallas defense is Parsons and Jaron Kearse, DeMarcus Lawrence.
That's pretty much it.
And the cornerbacks are pretty solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not great.
Not great. I was thinking they were talking on the Athletic Football Show, really great episode, with Matt Harmon from Reception Perception, talking about CeeDee Lamb should be the betting favorite to lead the NFL in targets. Yeah. Think of how much volume this guy is going to get with James Washington out for an extended period, Michael Gallup out. You got Jalen Tolbert and Noah Brown, and that's really about it. So, I'm like, this Dallas team could be bad.
Yeah, they really
You've got these really bright lights here between Dak and CeeDee and Micah Parsons.
Nice stars, nice young stars, nice foundation. But yeah, they got a lot of work to do.
A lot. That
Who's the favorite in the NFC? NFC East.
NFC East, probably Philadelphia.
You think so?
I like them the best, especially if Jalen Hurts takes a step forward, which there's no excuse for him not to, right? A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, year 2.
Goddard.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert.
Good offensive line.
That defense has been improved. So, yeah, I think I would put my money on Philadelphia. I mean, but Dallas, I mean, God, it's a stars and scrubs roster come to life, truly.
Yeah.
But Anthony Barr, LVE, Jabril Cox.
Gross.
Like Addy said, the answer is Micah Parsons. But let's move now to another linebacker in Detroit, Addy, that is raising eyebrows, and talk about Lions rookie Malcolm Rodriguez. Of course, Hard Knocks premieres tonight. Detroit is the featured team for Hard Knocks this year. And Malcolm Rodriguez has been generating a lot of buzz, getting called the surprise of camp, even taking first-team reps in the middle. I know Mikey Dubs is all over Malcolm Rodriguez. This feels like one of those surprise linebackers that kind of comes out of nowhere to hit IDP relevancy very early in the season.
Yeah, I think he has all the makings of that. Yeah, I mean, 6th-round pick, so not the draft capital we want. But he's a guy that was racking up tackles in college. He looks like he had 118 last year. Where did he play? Oklahoma State?
Yeah, Oregon State maybe. It's one of the O states. But I know that.
I think it was Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes, it was. It was Oklahoma State.
Yeah, there's just no one there. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We're just looking for someone that's going to get opportunity.
Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, it's just
no
trash.
One of note.
It's utter trash.
But yeah, so they got another 6th-round draft pick to put in the mix. I mean, dynasty-wise, I mean, you probably can't expect this guy to be a long-term star or anything. But I mean, if he's going to return value this early on, he's a great target for you.
I think I'm
probably under waivers.
I'm a little worried just because Dan Campbell, I feel like, is a great hype man.
Yeah,
right. Like,
I feel like everyone's going to be awesome in his eyes.
The Aiden Hutchinson gas has been getting poured on the fire nonstop since the start of training camp. They're on Hard Knocks players. I guarantee you, if you looked, there's probably a bump in their ADP during Hard Knocks in drafts. So
everyone's kind of in on the Lions.
The Lions are a very trendy team right now.
Yeah.
So Malcolm Rodriguez, will he pan out? I don't know, but we're looking. It's not like he has serious stiff competition, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this is saying Chad Muma is the star of Jags camp. Well, too bad, because he's not going to surpass Devin Lloyd or Foyce Aluakun on the depth chart. Sorry, bud. But when your competition is Alex Anzalone, who John Macri famously said, I hope he's good at something because he's not good at football, and Derek Barnes, the perennial disappointment, Derek Barnes, I'm paying attention. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Is
you can do worse.
The context is very interesting.
And the prices, I mean, what's the ADP? This dude even get drafted?
It's undrafted, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably on waivers if you go check your league right now.
Yep.
But let's transition to Jacksonville and the aforementioned Devin Lloyd. Addy, where is Devin Lloyd? He has yet to practice thus far in training camp. These things, I think, are worth mentioning because they tend to sneak up on you a little bit. This time of year when we've been in the football desert and now we're suddenly drinking from the fire hose of news and training camp buzz and hype and injuries and, oh no, videos coming out and, oh, so-and-so just walked off the field, limped off the field, was carted off, he's in the tent. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. And I think he can slide under the radar a little bit that guys like Devin Lloyd, these highly drafted, highly prized IDP assets, haven't seen the field thus far in training camp. That's a little worrisome.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think you should look at it more as this is a chance for this guy to drop,
There you go.
Drafts,
that's a great point.
Which I think he will, just because, out of sight, out of mind. And yeah, people get a little worried about that stuff. But I mean, Devin Lloyd is someone that has massive upside this year. And someone that I think you should be trying to make plans for in your drafts. I mean, he's someone that could easily get 130, 140 tackles, off rip. So I like Devin Lloyd a lot. I mean, Chad Muma, yeah, sure, he's going to have a chance at some point. I just don't think it's going to be this year.
I think Foysade's going to have to get out the door before Muma.
And I've been hearing good stuff about Foysade.
Yeah, sounds like
he's all over the place.
The positive buzz has been really, really high.
He is a veteran. I mean,
yes, you would expect that.
Yeah,
highly paid veteran coming in. If nothing else, he's going to give you 150 plus tackles if he stays healthy.
Yep.
So if that's what you want to pay for, Jacksonville Jaguars, there you go. You're probably going to get that, assuming health. But Addy, as we wrap up the news here, a final piece of news. Speaking of health, I think there comes a point in every veteran's career where they realize, I just don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And for Kiko Alonso, it was signing with the New Orleans Saints literally about a week ago. Not even that. I was in Texas, so it's not even been a week. It's been like 4 days that Kiko Alonso signed with the New Orleans Saints and has since retired.
It's that Simpsons gif of him like walking in.
Yes. Seeing Bart at the stool, grabbing his hat, and walking right back out. So I don't know. Maybe it was just Kiko Alonso's time. Maybe he got a look at this New Orleans team and said, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with this. I'd rather retire. But I will always remember Kiko Alonso for trying to decapitate Joe Flacco.
That's right. Yeah.
Forget.
Was a primetime game.
It was, yeah. And just a vicious, I think they tossed Kiko out of that game.
Yeah. He was relevant for a while there.
He had a stretch.
But man, he always was one of those guys that sucks too,
That sucks.
Not a good football player.
Yeah, just maybe a person, like
probably not.
Kind of a cheap shot artist. You always kind of wonder, like, what do his teammates or his opponents think of this guy, trying to take my quarterback's head off.
Name's Kiko. I just feel like
that's a little weird, right? Yeah. We haven't seen a lot of, any other Kikos.
I've never known a Kiko.
Never known a Kiko. Well, happy trails to Kiko Alonso. It's that time of year, Addy. We're going to have some retirements. We're going to have some surprise cuts coming up,
Yep. Still some pretty solid guys floating around out there, And that's the problem with, like, some of these, like, Malcolm Rodriguez's and even Jonas Griffith. Like, there's a chance that they could bring in another vet. I think even, like, wasn't Denver considering bringing in Anthony Barr?
Yep, they were.
So,
Joe Schobert's
right
out there still, right? He hasn't signed anywhere, has he?
Right.
You've got AJ Johnson floating around.
So, just that stuff can happen. Be prepared for that stuff, but
be prepared for the trapdoor. Nothing is secure right now.
Yeah, we'll keep you prepared.
Yeah, we are always aware where the trapdoors are. So this was good, Addy. I think it's helpful this time of year, and I appreciate folks like Greg Rosenthal, Joe Bryant, football guys. They put out their kind of rundown of all the training camp news that you need to know. So find that source of news that you trust and just plug in. It's a lot to try to keep up with everything. So find those good aggregators of training camp info. You don't want to overreact, like we said, Addy, but this is not all smoke. It is not just like ignore everything. Your job as a fantasy manager is to sort through the noise to figure out what actually matters this time of year. Not everything matters. Most of it doesn't matter, I would say, but some of it does. And so we're going to try to help you sort through and figure out what actually matters for IDP.
Yep.
That's what we're here for, Addy.
Yeah. And hopefully, we don't get burned again like we did last year with, like, the Zaven Collins stuff. And,
boy.
Just because Kime's just a liar.
He's a liar and pathetic.
Sure.
As Taylor Swift likes to say. Continued weirdness out of Arizona. They don't view Zaven Collins as like a full-time guy.
We'll see. And again, another opportunity potential for you.
Let's hope that's just.
If it's another year of him not getting on the field, oh my God.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Isaiah Simmons is playing the star role now.
Lit 2 draft picks on fire.
Pretty much. It was like
2 top 15 draft picks, right?
I think maybe 16 for Zaven.
Zaven was 16.
So Ben Solak said it on the Athletic Football Show very well. It's like they're pulling the Hassan Reddick with Isaiah Simmons, moving him to the proper position too late in his career, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not capturing the real value moving Simmons if the star role is his best role. They're doing that in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell are you guys doing? That's an indictment of you all and your player development and evaluation
And I don't like Vance Joseph. He just seems like a little hard ass. Like he's, you're going to have to just make sure you do everything the right way, or he's going to hold some grudge against you. I just don't like him. Just never been a fan.
The Arizona Cardinals are a bit of a circus right now. You've got Cliff coming out and saying, I just let Kyler call the plays just so he sees how hard this shit is. I don't know if you saw this quote. That. Yeah. It's like I see him shaking his head this time, and I just want him to know this ain't easy. And it's like, bro, what is happening in Arizona? Y'all just had this homework clause for Kyler that followed an offseason of drama and subtweets and social media scrubbing, and now Cliff's like, but what if I just throw double middle fingers up at Kyler through the media?
Yeah. You think you can call the plays, little man?
Yeah, here you go. Oh, man. Just very weird vibes. The whole...
Hollywood Brown arrested for going 126 miles per hour or whatever.
Was it that fast?
I think it was something
Jeez.
like that.
All right, Hollywood. Calm down, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the Zaven weirdness, the Simmons weirdness, the Kyler weirdness, Hollywood Brown's arrest. Cliff is throwing his quarterback under the bus every chance he gets.
Doesn't seem like a lot of discipline over there in Arizona.
It seems like a circus. I think we're going to get like a Seth Wickersham expose once Cliff and Steve Keim are fired after this season of like, this was a house of horrors.
Oh.
Like this was no discipline, no culture, no organization, just like pure pandemonium.
Cliff doing drugs with all the players.
Cliff having no socks on, just walking around in his Scarface mansion, mountains of cocaine. Yeah, just a mess.
Whores everywhere.
Just whores. Yeah, we know why Chicago's holding out on Roquan Smith. They know the truth of what happened when he missed those games.
They know what he done.
Well, thank you all for listening to this first part of the episode, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this ad break. We are going to have the guys from All 22 on to help us break down the strategy for your All 22 drafts. So don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. We will be right back. Good job, Eddie.